To the one whose steps are heavy today, to the soul who tried but ended the day in silence and tears, this is for you. Not every fall means you've lost. Not every delay means you've been abandoned. And not every pain is a punishment. Sometimes your breaking is the beginning of becoming. There are days when all you want is a sign, a reason to keep holding on, a whisper that tells you your effort is not in vain, that even though you failed today, your destiny has not changed. You are still chosen. You are still walking towards something beautiful, even if your eyes can't see it yet. Today may not look like victory. It might be filled with mistakes, missed chances, or heartbreak. But hear this, your story is not defined by today. What you carry inside, the courage to try again, the heart that dares to believe even in the dark, that is what makes you extraordinary. This is a message for those who are quietly brave, for the ones who wake up every day with pain in their chest, but still get up and face the world, for the souls who feel forgotten, but still choose to love, to give, and to hope. If that's you, you are not invisible. You are not behind. You are not broken beyond repair. You are being refined, not rejected. Prepared, not punished. Protected, not passed over. So sit with these words. Let them sink in slowly, not as noise, but as nourishment for your tired heart. Because you may have failed today, but you are still destined to win. Part 2, the hidden meaning behind hardships. Sometimes life doesn't explain itself right away. It simply hands you a storm and expects you to walk through it. And in those storms, it's easy to ask, why me? Why now? What did I do wrong? But there's a truth hidden in every hardship. The most painful moments often carry the seeds of your greatest transformation. You see, life isn't only about comfort or convenience. It's about growth, and growth rarely feels gentle. The cracks in your heart, the disappointments, the shattered plans, they're not evidence of failure. They are sacred spaces where wisdom is born. Behind every unanswered prayer, there's a bigger picture, one you might not see yet, one you're still growing into. What feels like rejection could be redirection. What feels like delay could be divine protection. And what feels like the end could actually be the beginning of a chapter you never expected. Hardships refine you. They test your truth, your patience, your character. They force you to confront the parts of you that you've tried to avoid, the parts that need healing. Sometimes the purpose of the pain is not to break you, but to bring you face to face with your own strength, the kind you wouldn't have known otherwise. Because there's a difference between falling apart and being reshaped. There's a difference between being buried and being planted. And perhaps right now, you're not being buried by life. You're being planted in a deeper place, so that your roots can grow stronger and your future can stand taller. So when you're in the middle of something you don't understand, hold this in your heart. Not all pain is punishment. Not all silence is abandonment. And not all endings are failures. Sometimes the lesson is not in escaping the storm, but in learning how to dance in the rain, with faith, with courage, and with quiet trust in what's yet to come. Because even your hardest day is still part of a beautiful story in the making. Part 3, Motivational Visual Illustration. Imagine a mountain standing tall in the distance. Its peak disappears into the clouds, shrouded in mystery and awe. Now picture yourself at the base, worn out, carrying a heavy backpack filled with doubt, wounds, and dreams that have yet to bloom. You look up. The climb feels impossible, but deep inside something stirs, a quiet whisper that says, "Climb anyway." Each step is uncertain. Some paths are steep. Sometimes you slip, fall, and wonder if you should turn back. But then the wind brushes your face as if the mountain itself is saying, "You're not here to stop. You're here to rise." You pass through fog, through mud, through silence. There are moments you see others ahead of you already near the top, and you wonder, Why am I so far behind? But the truth is, you're not in a race. You're on a sacred journey, one that belongs only to you. What you don't see is this. Every step you take is changing you. Your legs are getting stronger, your breath more steady, your spirit more resilient. You start to realize the mountain was never the real challenge. The real challenge was believing you were meant to climb it. You begin to shed the weight you no longer need. Fear, shame, old stories about who you're supposed to be. And as you climb higher, you start to feel lighter. Not because the climb is easier, but because you're no longer fighting yourself. You learn to rest, not quit. To breathe through the struggle, not resent it. To honor your pace, not compare it. And when you finally reach a ledge, not the peak, but a new height, you turn around and see how far you've come. And it hits you. You didn't just survive. You grew. You evolved. You became someone you can be proud of. That mountain, it never doubted you. It waited for you. And just like that mountain, your future is still standing, waiting, believing in you, even on the days you don't believe in yourself. So don't stop here, because you're not just climbing, you're becoming. Part 4, Personal Reflection. There comes a time in life when silence speaks louder than words, when your heart carries more stories than your voice can tell. And in those moments, you start asking not the world, but yourself. How did I end up here? It's a question that doesn't always seek answers. Sometimes it only needs honesty, not the kind that impresses others, but the kind that saves you from pretending everything is fine. Look at yourself, not with judgment, but with gentleness. You've walked through seasons that others will never understand. You've smiled through days when your soul was aching. You've shown up when quitting would have been easier. And even when you didn't feel strong, you still stood. You might not have everything figured out. Your plans may have fallen apart. And maybe, just maybe, you feel like you're falling behind. But let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at your survival as a kind of brilliance? The way you kept moving even while carrying invisible wounds. The way you chose kindness in a world that often offered cruelty. The way you still believe, even if only in tiny, fragile ways. You are not broken. You are becoming. And becoming is not glamorous. It's raw, messy, slow, but it's real. If you ever feel lost, remember, a seed must disappear before it becomes a tree. A caterpillar must dissolve before it becomes a butterfly. Transformation always looks like destruction at first, but it's not the end. It's the turning point. You are not late. You are not less. You are not unloved. You are someone who's learning to be whole. Not because everything is perfect, but because you're no longer afraid to be seen as unfinished. So take a deep breath. Forgive yourself for what you didn't know. Let go of the timelines that were never meant for your soul. And remind yourself, you are allowed to begin again, as many times as it takes. Part 5, A Shift in Mindset. What if everything you called failure was never failure at all? What if it was redirection? A sacred rerouting from the life you thought you wanted to the life your soul was always meant to live? Sometimes we need to unlearn what the world calls success, because the loudest applause isn't always the truest measure, and the highest achievements aren't always the most meaningful. The world may reward performance, but your peace is found in authenticity. You were not created to impress. You were born to impact. And sometimes impact begins in the dark, far from the spotlight, when no one is watching but heaven. Here's the truth many avoid. The path of the chosen isn't paved with instant rewards. It's often lonely, misunderstood, and full of internal battles. But within it lies a priceless gift, the transformation of your inner world. You don't need to be the strongest. You don't need to be the smartest. You only need to stay true. True to the lessons, true to the process, true to the whisper that says, keep going, even when the noise of fear is louder. When you shift your mindset from outcome to obedience, From public success to private alignment, from proving your worth to walking in your worth, that's when the real victory begins. You are not what you lost. You are not defined by who walked away. You are not the disappointment of your past. You are the courage it took to start again. You are the patience it takes to wait well. You are the wisdom gained from every wound that didn't destroy you. From this moment forward, decide that you are not here to survive on crumbs. You are here to sit at the table you were born for, to live with clarity, not confusion, to rise not for revenge, but for redemption. And you'll know your mindset has changed when you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start declaring, "This is shaping me into someone I was destined to become." The struggle doesn't make you weak, it makes you worthy. Part 6, Closing, a call and a hopeful invitation. Dear chosen soul, you have come this far not by accident. You've walked through pain, confusion, and silence, and yet you are still here. Not merely surviving, but carrying a light that refuses to go out. Even when it flickers, it burns with a divine purpose. Let this be your reminder. You are not finished. This is not the end of your story. Your breakthrough may not have arrived yet, but your growth has been quietly unfolding behind every closed door. What you carry within you is far too sacred to be wasted. You were entrusted with battles others may never understand, because your strength was never meant for mere comfort. It was meant to build something eternal, a legacy not of applause but of impact. Now is the time to rise again, not because everything is perfect, but because you've seen who you are when everything falls apart, and you still chose love, still chose kindness, still chose to believe when it made no sense. That's what makes you a warrior in the spirit, not the loudness of your fight, but the quiet power of your faith. Every season of silence trained your ears to hear heaven. Every loss purified your motives. Every delay matured your patience. And now you walk not as one who begs for direction, but as one who carries divine clarity. Walk slowly but surely. Forgive quickly but wisely. Let go but never give up. And above all, honor the process, because it's not punishing you. It's preparing you. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not too late. You are being positioned. And in the silence, your crown is being carved. This is your invitation to hope again, to dream again even if the last dream broke your heart, to trust again even if your faith is trembling, to rise again even if your knees still shake, because you may have failed today, but heaven never changed its mind about you. You are still chosen, still called, still destined to win. And this time, you're not rising alone. You're rising with purpose, with wisdom, with fire. Welcome back, chosen soul. Your next chapter begins now.